Hey everyone, it's the Chill Gorilly, aka the Chili Gorilly. I'm sorry. Uh, I'm probably gonna fuck that up the first few times around until I get used to calling myself that. So the second presidential debate between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton was a couple nights ago, and I think that there's some confusion as to who is the winner of that debate, at least by terms of logic and reason. And well, because really, I mean, to determine who won anything, you gotta first determine what's the criteria for said winning. And my personal criteria would be how pertinent the information was to the American citizen. And from what I could observe, Donald Trump's information, particularly regarding Hillary Clinton and the behaviors she's engaged in, and the concerns that should cause for the American people, and the threats that poses for the American people. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, honestly couldn't come up with anything other than petty locker room bullshit and the same over the top, misconstrued bullshit that everybody else on the left is spewing out. And the thing is, the left doesn't want logic and reason and statistics and facts and information to be a part of the argument, because to them, uh, I feel like we should be emphasizing our attention on feelings and emotions, where that doesn't feed families, that doesn't support economies, that doesn't support infrastructure, that doesn't support countries. Feelings have no place in politics, to be quite honest. Your feelings matter to you and those around you, and that's how it should be. It shouldn't matter to anybody else outside of that. Why should a stranger give a shit about your feelings? You've done nothing for them to mean anything to them, and just for the simple fact that you're another human being coexisting doesn't entitle anybody to, or it doesn't obligate anybody to change their way of living in any way, shape, or form to conform to your self-image, your hubris, your ego. And that's the thing is, I say that a lot. It's just ridiculous to me. But so if you ask me, the clear-cut winner was Donald Trump. He brought much more pertinent and relevant information to the table regarding just what kind of person Hillary Clinton is and the kind of people she's involved with. You know, the establishment and big bankers, special interests, and yada yada yada. So, I mean, that's what I care about. So that's who won the debate to me. Really, to anybody who says, oh, all this other social justice and all this other stuff is what we should be paying attention to, I would honestly, the only thing I would really have to say to those people is your priority list really needs to be reevaluated. And I think my assumption as to why so many people's priority lists are so screwed up is because they haven't experienced the real world long enough to realize where their priorities, or what order their priorities should be in. Because regardless of how much, trust me, I was there as a teenager. I was, the rebellious, quote unquote, punk teenager who, thought that, I'm gonna do this my way, even if it has nothing to do with the way things, quote unquote, should be done, and I'm still gonna be okay. I'm still gonna make it. Sorry, shit that doesn't work. I mean, you can still be an individual and be, your own unique self, but there's one way to survival in this world, and that's really to be able to adapt. And to adapt also means to be able to coexist with other inhabitants of your environment. And that means knowing how to get along with people. And I'm sorry, but one thing I learned about being a rebellious punk is you're a punk, you're an asshole, you're a jerk. Nobody likes you. It's impossible to survive with that mentality because you can't coexist with other inhabitants of your, of your environment. I mean, if with that mentality, you have one of two choices. I mean, either get the fuck out of civilization and go live out in the sticks, or blow your own fucking head off. Because, I mean, if you want to participate in civilization, you're going to have to know how to get along with people. Because that's what civilization is. It's the ability for, free-thinking human beings and individual human beings to coexist. And that only happens when there's a mutually agreed upon set of rules that we universally call society. And, So I mean, it's very black and white, but this is a black and white world we live in. Really, the only gray areas in the world are ones that mankind has constructed out of the false sense of security that man's built for himself outside of the wild, or within the wild, however you want to look at it. Uh, we've afforded ourselves the luxury of a gray area with our advances in civilization, but that's the problem. If civilization is a very fragile entity, and it's a very fragile concept, and it's a lot more fragile than the government and mainstream media would like to let on. Just think about what would happen if the power grid were to collapse. So, uh, you know, just for that reason, I believe it's necessary to at least have some sort of survival skill set outside of civilization. And, I mean, as it sits now, to be able to get along with other human beings and, uh, actually, no, the point I was, sorry, my mind's a little scrambled at the moment. I've long day, but the point I'm trying to make with that is, even when society collapses, if humanity has or hopes is to have any hope of surviving after the fact, that all being able to get along with one another is still necessary even then. The human race can't proceed if two human beings can't get along with one another. Procreation isn't going to happen that way, or it's not going to survive very long that way. I mean, it's not going to get into that, but so it's really just the left mentality is a self-defeating mentality, because it denies the people on the left their own ability and their own potential to get along with other people. Their whole complaint is, within their own, their complaints come from within their own personal lives, their problems with getting along with and integrating into society and quote-unquote fitting in, when it's their mentality on the social environment and quote-unquote fitting in that's preventing them from doing so. So, to me, what that boils down to is maybe a case, an epidemic of self-loathing on the left. The only way I could see someone getting in their own way in that aspect is if they have some sort of massive insecurity that inhibits them from having the confidence to go out and engage socially. So, to that I would just say, get out of your own way. I mean, if you want to make friends, find a significant other, what have you, stop thinking about whether or not you can, and just go for it because it's something you want. Don't think about whether you're currently able to do it. You don't know until you try, so just go for it because it's something you want. Don't think about anything else. I want it, I'm going for it. That's how successful people become successful. They don't think about, oh, am I properly equipped to go and do that? There's only one way to find out. Fucking do it. So there's my advice. If there's because a lot of the people on the left, or at least a good significant chunk of the left, is the SJWs and the feminists. So to the feminists, I would say, if there's some dude that you're crushing on and you feel like he's got all these standards that you don't meet, you don't know that for a fact. So the only way you're gonna be able to even reinforce that belief, if that's even true, is to go up and find out what his standards are. And the only way you can do that is if you engage them. You can't even tell people what to what do I say to a girl or a guy to get their attention. Whatever you feel like saying. That's how you be yourself. A thought comes in your head, you get a feeling in your gut, your stomach, whatever, your head, and you just go with it because that's who you are. That's what you do. That's what you feel like. Don't really, the biggest problem I think with society is we're taking too much of each other's advice. When I think the only bit of advice that we should be passing around is go with your gut. Your gut never lies to you. Your instinct never lies to you. Your instinct is doing everything it can to keep you alive, to help you survive, to help you prosper, to help you thrive. It's literally doing whatever it can to give you all the things that you want and all the things that you yearn for, you aspire to. So, really, I mean, stop taking each other's advice unless that advice is go with your gut. That's all I gotta say. Gorilly out.